let me introduce you to somebody who is begging for attention. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Nomad AFF, otherwise known as In My Opinion 107. His bio reads, I really don't care what you think. So he's surely not going to care about all the comments you guys are about ready to leave on all of his videos. Why is he begging for attention? Let's take a look at some of his content.
Oh, look, Captain Flowers is back because all of a sudden his friend discovered his balls, so he wants to come after me and try to fucking make a man out of himself. Buddy, anytime, I told you where the fuck I live. Bring it on, bitch.
Yeah, this guy's begging to be made an example of.
Show me something in your house that tells me who you're voting for, without telling me who you're voting for.
Gotcha. So, are you under the impression that there are no Christians or Catholics in the Democratic Party? This one's going to be easy, folks.
In what you would have done in 1930s Germany when they were rounding up the fucking Jews.
No, you almost had a valid point there, but the problem that you're forgetting is the fucking Jews weren't in the country illegally.
But what you're forgetting is that the German government under Schmittler determined them to be illegal citizens, and the wording used by Schmittler about the fucking Jews is the exact same wording that is currently being used by Donald Trump. Let's go on.
I will never be done fighting for women's rights until they get their right to their bodily autonomy.
I'd like for you to show me where women have lost any right. I'd also like you to show me where the LGBT community has lost any rights whatsoever. I would also like to have you explain why you support illegal immigrants in the country more than you do our homeless veterans. And then after all is said and done, I would absolutely love to hear your explanation of why you have to call everybody names. Does it make you feel bigger? Does it make you feel huge? Does it make you feel like a giant man? Because all it does is make you look like an idiot. Saying something in front of a screen that you wouldn't say to somebody else.
I'm actually friends with Aaron, and I've never heard him say that he supports undocumented immigrants more than homeless veterans. So I would defy you to back that claim up. Furthermore, whenever Democrats try to help homeless veterans, it's Republicans that always block the bills. So which one is it? Do you want to help homeless veterans or do you not want to? Women lost the right to privacy, which is what Roe v. Wade was about. In over 30 states, I believe now, women do not have the right to privacy, the constitutionally protected right to privacy in their doctor's office. It's in the Fourth Amendment. And if you can't read the Fourth Amendment, just have a child help you. I'm sure it'll be okay. And LGBTQ plus people, I could go through a litany of laws that have been, bills that have been proposed, some that have been passed, many that have been defeated in multiple states, but it would take longer than the 10 minutes allowed on this video. So I'll just let people from my following go to your account and explain it to you on that very video for you. Furthermore, if you don't like people calling other people names, why the fuck are you voting for Donald Trump, who does nothing but call people names? He has a name for everybody he doesn't like. Does it make him look like an idiot? Or are you just a fucking hypocrite? What else you got?
Having a conversation with this little ray of sunshine when all of a sudden I get called a bigot. My question is, do you know me? Have you ever met me? Do you know anything about me?
Good God, who would want to meet you? But didn't you just say that you don't like people who call other people names? Hey, the hypocrisy is astounding. What else you got?
Donald Trump's plan is to deport all the agricultural workers and raise...
Oh, Walter, you just really can't help yourself, can you? You just sat there and said that all migrant workers are good for is basically farm work. That's all they're good for, right? You came on there and said it. Just like, you remember black men and soccer moms. You remember those comments? You're a fucking racist, Walter. And everything needs to stop.
Yeah, you need to stop. You just called another person a name after saying you don't like people who call people names. You just said that people who call people names look like idiots, and then you've done it in 2 consecutive videos. And furthermore, no, Walter didn't say that. He did not say all migrant workers are good for is agricultural work. He said Prices of groceries are skyrocketed, have skyrocketed, and Donald Trump's plan is to deport all of the agricultural workers. He never said all migrant workers are good for is agricultural work. You pulled that right out of your ass. Like you pull many things. What's next?
Some of these have already been taken out of the appellate court, and the people who were trying it for the Democrats begged not to be sanctioned. So you don't know what you're talking about.
No, guy, you don't know what you're talking about. That tells me that you just watched a video from the elder millennial and believed all of that bullshit. None of those have been thrown out. None of those have been taken out of the appellate court. And no, the Democratic prosecutors did not beg not to be sanctioned. What they did was they asked the court not to sanction Trump's legal team. But because the elder millennial told you that, you believed that bullshit. And then had the testicular fortitude to get on Beyonce's internet and tell somebody else they don't know what they're talking about. The fucking audacity. What's next?
I'll be voting for the party that wants to give fourth graders free lunches instead of forcing them to give birth.
And I'll be voting for the party that doesn't send drag queens in to tell them to cut off their tallywhackers.
What? Drag queens are going into schools and telling children to cut off their private parts? Where? Name the school. Give us the school district where this has occurred. And furthermore, do you know what a drag queen is? Are you under the impression a drag queen is a guy who cut off his tallywhacker and put on a dress? Beyond clueless. What's next?
More of a threat to little girls and women than a...
See, that's where you're cutting hairs, because I never said anything about the drag queens cutting off their tallywhackers. What I said was to convince the little boys. See, I know that words are hard for people like you and that you really can't understand them. As far as the misogynistic, homophobic old man that is more of a threat to little girls and women, I'm a girl dad, for one. And for two, I have gone through more background checks to be a coach for a girls' team than you could possibly.
Let's just stop right there because this is giving me a headache. Okay, first, I find it incredible that you just told somebody that words are hard for them when you took the term splitting hairs and turned it into cutting hairs, something nobody has ever fucking said in the history of speaking. Secondly, I feel sorry for your daughters. I truly do. But lastly, you talked about how many background checks you had to go through in order to be a coach for a girls' team. Do you know why that is? It's because of the Protect Our Children Act of 2008. Now, I know words can be hard for you, my guy, but if you can read right here, who is the sponsor of that bill? If you're having trouble reading it, here, I'll read it for you. That would be Senator Joe Biden from Delaware. That bill, sponsored by Joe Biden and passed through Congress, allowed youth organizations hiring coaches, athletic trainers, and staff access to state and FBI criminal history records information. This background check is recommended for all those working with vulnerable populations, including children. This was fun, but entirely too easy. Folks, he's begging for attention. Go give it to him.